So, you need a squirt? You good? Let's go. You squirt.
When you look at the Buffalo defense, what is it that you see them doing best?
They're such a well-rounded defense. It's one of those, they've been in Sean's scheme in Leslie's scheme now for a while. You can tell, again, it's much like last week, we're a group of veterans. Anytime the front can affect the game the way that their front does, that makes life easier on the back end. That's why they're able to be so opportunistic and make all those plays. So the challenge is really that they're really good at their scheme, and so we have to be even better with our execution.
Do you agree with Justin Fields in theory when he says that really isn't his goal to rush for 1,000 yards every season?
Sure. I don't know. I never thought of it, so I don't know.
Theoretically, that he wants to throw one, that he doesn't want to, have to do that much running.
I think it's more he wants to win, and he'll do whatever it takes, to be honest with you. I don't think he's going to sit there and say, I need 1,000 yards or I need 4,000 yards passing. I think he just wants to win and be the best player he can. So that's what I see on a daily basis.
How relieved were you with Tevin Jenkins? That looked really bad, obviously, on Sunday, that he's not as seriously hurt as it looked.
Yeah, very, obviously. That was one of those moments when the guy doesn't roll over onto his back, then something's up. So glad to see everything's okay.
Luke, I don't know the difference between a twist, a stunt, or a game, but those maneuvers seem to be giving you more problems in pass protection than actual one-on-one blocking. Is that accurate? And if so, how can you improve it? And how much of it is related to the fact that you just haven't had enough continuity, even within games, on your line throughout the year?
They're really good. They do a really good job. What they lead the league in sacks or whatever. They're really good at that. You stay out of those 3rd and 10 situations, 2nd and 27 situations. That usually helps too, because that's usually the time that you can do that. Because if they don't, now they're susceptible to running lanes or quarterback getting out of the pocket or scrambling. So avoiding the situations is the best way. And then secondly, it's like anything when if someone's just rushing you one-on-one all day, you can affect the game a different way, whether you have presence from a slide, whether you have presence on the edge or your back. But the twist games and the pick games, the guys that are really good at it, like Philadelphia is, it definitely takes a toll on you and makes you have to get the ball out of your hand much faster.
But how much is communication an issue, especially with like free blitzers and things, non-traditional pass rushing things, I guess? Is it not just Philadelphia, other previous games? Is that an issue? And is communication something you really need to?
Yeah, I don't know if the communication is, but it's you don't want to get on different levels. You want to make sure that you're communicating in the sense of like if you see something or you see an alignment or you see a potential pressure, you having the communication with each other to alert each other that something's about to happen. That's where the communication can help you prepare for it. But it's usually comes down to fundamentals and technique, and we were not good at in that area last week for sure.
You've said with Alex Leatherwood that he can play tackle, and in practice he's playing inside for you guys a bit. Has that been at left guard during practice?
It's been with the way that our line has kind of been banged up. I think the guys have been playing a lot of different positions. Larry's been inside and outside. Leatherwood's been inside and outside. Other than the kind of like the Braxton and Tevin and Sam, everyone's really been playing everything. Even Riley's been practicing inside for us too. So we've kind of been getting guys in a lot of different areas as far as practice goes.
If Cody can't go this week, what would you like? Would you like to see Alex at left guard? Do you think that could be a spot he sticks at?
Could it be? Sure, it could, but I don't want to say I'd like to see that. We want to get the best 5 out there, whatever that might be. We're going to do a lot of different things the next 2 days to kind of see if that is the case, that we'll be ready to figure out what's best for us.
What has Khalil Herbert shown you during your time with him about both his abilities as a runner and then his fit within your system?
Yeah, I think unique style running. The cool patience that he has. The way guys can kind of naturally bounce off of him, I think is really cool. And so I think it's what's really nice too is just it's a different type of back. I think there's a value in that and having 2 different types of style runners like we're able to have here with D and him. And so I think that's really cool too. And then he has the opportunity, like we've seen, to to take what could be like a 7-yard run and turn it into a big one too, because he has enough speed to do that as well.
What impressed you most about how Justin beat the blitz and hit David Montgomery in the walking touchdown?
I mean, that's it's good recognition. I think the quickness of him to identify it and get it out to David quickly was good. Accurate throw is probably the most important thing in those situations, because if you make the guy stop, now someone can fall off another guy. So it was a nice accurate throw, which made it a much easier opportunity to go score.
Justin's had these moments with these catch and snap quick throws that aren't always accurate. What are you seeing diagnosis-wise on why that has been kind of a recurring thing for him?
I mean, there's probably more to it than just one thing. I think it's the whole part of that type of game is diagnosing so quickly when you have to make that throw, whether it's because you outnumber somebody, whether it's because of a pressure, and so we're going to keep getting better at that. And I think it'll be an important part of his growth and where he goes, because I think those are some easy completions that not only help him, but it helps the guys get on the perimeter.
Is it throwing mechanics, or what are you seeing there?
No, I think it's a combination of a lot of different things, and then the timing of it is probably more than anything. When you feel like you're rushed and you're late, that's when you kind of you lose your fundamentals.
What have you learned about David Montgomery this season and maybe come to appreciate about his game?
I mean, a ton. Yeah, I mean, he's a rock. I mean, he's a guy who comes to work every single day. He can handle a lot mentally. So we do a lot of different stuff with him. Pass pro, he's awesome. He's tough as nails. I mean, you see the way he finishes every run. I mean, it's one of those guys that you love having at the forefront of your program.
When you have a true star wide receiver like Buffalo does with Diggs, or like you guys had last year with Adams, obviously you have that weapon you can always go to, but what are the ripple effects of that as far as making other players or other receivers, maybe other elements of the offense better?
Well, it's not, I would say, when you have any type of weapon to that type of degree, like those two guys you mentioned, I think you affect the way the defensive coordinator calls the game. And I think Justin affects the way defensive coordinators call the game. And so the more players you have on the field that are like that, I mean, that makes it really challenging. And that's, the team, you take what those guys did last week, right? You have two receivers going for all those yards for Philly and a quarterback that ran for a bunch of yards too. I mean, when you have dynamic people, it makes it really hard for a defensive coordinator to dial in onto anything. So having that upper echelon receiver obviously creates more opportunities for everybody, not just the other receivers.
Justin indicated Sunday that he wouldn't mind breaking Lamar's QB rushing record. Is that something, obviously you guys want to win first, but is that something you keep in mind as you're playing here?
It is not, and it probably won't be, but I'm sure there's times in games when you hit moments that it crosses your mind. I was watching the Golden State Warriors the other night, and it was their big guy. He was like one assist one assist from a triple double. He's never had one before. And I saw all those guys running to Coach Kerr like, "Come on, dude, he just needs a triple double." And they took him out of the game. We won't take him out of the game.
I mean, like in week 18, will that be something that you're aware of? If you're on the doorstep.
No, I mean, like again, we won't sacrifice what's winning the game, and usually him being a part of that is part of what we do anyway. So I don't think that's going to be something that we're going to have to think about.
39-yarder the other day. What's your vantage point on that? And from a coach's lens, like,
Yeah.
what are the emotions you're experiencing when 3rd and 34 turns into first and goal?
Yeah, that's part of the thing. What's special with him is that when we can get other people in space, he does a good job of finding them, and then when we get him in space, he does incredible things. And so my eyes were watching the play where he should be throwing the ball, and then next thing I know, I look back and now it's in this mode, and then. How he finished that run, I was just, it was pretty incredible. And then I had to get on the horn because he was celebrating. I'm like, bro, they called you out. Get back there, hurry up, let's go. And so fortunately, they gave us a bump on the clock there, so we were able to get settled in and then get in the end zone next play.
We've heard from Flus about his belief in the foundation that's being set this season. From your vantage point and your perspective, how do you reflect, I know there's still 3 games left, but kind of reflect on the way this thing has progressed here in year one and your hope for the future?
You're just asking for my perspective on our growth? Is that?
How do you believe this thing is trending as you guys work through year one?
Yeah, I think we're establishing our style of play. We're establishing the type of team that we want to be. Leadership is starting to grow to the top of this football team. It's important that you have growth from your young quarterback. And I think all of that stuff is trending positively. And so we got to continue to take it to another level each and every week and take advantage of every opportunity that we got. And most proud of, again, the togetherness that offensive unit has. Stick together, the toughness, the fight. That's what we're going to stand on, and that's who we'll be, and hopefully we continue to show that on Sundays.
Do you have to adjust anything for scary cold conditions? Do you have to keep that in mind?
No, I mean, we said it the other day. I mean, how you stay warm is stepping on the field and playing violently and playing together and celebrating together. That's how you stay warm, and so we're going to focus on that and executing our stuff, and you deal with it. And if it's on your mind and it's distracting you, then you're not going to be able to execute the highest level. So fortunately, we got a couple days that we get to go practice at it and get our minds, get our heads straight.
Do you think the cold affects throwing? I mean, I know rain and precipitation, snow, wind, all that, but cold, I mean.
Sure it does. I mean, I think it's just, it's like anything. If you're standing outside and you're trying to make a decision or you're trying to write down something and you're cold, right? I mean, like it affects you. And so we got to do a great job of staying warm when they have those opportunities of breaks. Like he did a great job. The equipment guys did a great job of getting the jacket out to him and with all those stoppages at the beginning of the game, right? We were standing around for a while, and those guys did a great job of handling all that stuff. So all that's important. And so keeping a fresh mind, staying as warm as you can when you get out there. And I think those guys, once they get out there, I mean, the adrenaline that they have, those guys, I think they'll be fine.
That's one thing. Of all the long runs Justin's had this year, or even maybe the short ones, do you have a favorite?
I don't know if that disappoints you or not, but he's made some incredible plays, and I think I've gone to Flus every single time, and I'm like, that was like the most incredible thing I've ever seen. And so to be able to say that multiple times is pretty cool.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Thank you, guys.
You know what? Before we start, I'd like to say happy holidays to everybody here. Again, as always, appreciate you being here. I don't take it for granted. You're the reason why. You're the reason why all our fans come to the ball games. They like to hear the stories that you guys write. They like to hear the things that the up close things that you get up close and personal. And with it being the holidays, I would like to say that I challenge us to give a little back in some type of way, whatever that is. That it all starts with one person affecting that one person, and then you'll see that it's infectious and it goes along. So whether that be a great story you write, or whether that be behind the scenes like some of our players with helping out and no one knows. So this is that season, and I know that it doesn't have to be just at this time, but it can be all through the year. I'd hope it would be all through the year, but if not, we still can make that happen towards the end of the season. So with that, I'm all yours.
How does Josh Allen compare to some of the other quarterbacks you've seen this year?
Well, he compares to a lot to the one we just faced. Hurts, just bigger. I would say, bigger. I'm not going to say stronger, but the arm is probably a little bit better arm talent in terms of how he throws the football. But very, very, very similar in terms of what they do, what they can do, and how you have to approach them. Like I think last week I said we'd like to have 12 or 13 on the field because of the nature of the quarterback runs and the quarterback scrambles and that type of thing. So another test for our defense in terms of what he can do.
His ability to run, he's I think the third or fourth leading rusher in the quarterbacks, but also the arm strength to go really deep. Not many people in the league have that, right?
No, they don't. And some people have one or the other. The guys that can run, and you go, well, they have a little trouble playing quarterback, or guys that can throw and they're statues and they don't run very well. He does both very well and improvises, and can when you're all right, he can make you wrong. So those are times when you just got to get line back up, get the ball carrier on the ground, so to speak, and move on to the next play. It's the cycle of the snap.
You guys have played a lot of elite quote-unquote elite wide receivers, Justin Jefferson, Tyreek Hill, and now, last week A.J. Brown, now we got Diggs coming into town. What does it do for you, as a defensive coordinator when a team has that, number one elite wide receiver?
Yeah, it puts a lot of stress on the defense. It's where's Waldo? So you have to know where he is at all times. Is he lined up in the slot? Is he lined up at number 3? Is he? The NFL is all about matchups, so they're trying to match him up or idea the coverage with the formation. So with that, you have to do your due diligence, know where guys like that are lined up, and then when they are a part of the offense, where the quarterback is just going through their progression, or when they're lined up in different spots, sometimes it says ding, 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 red flag, be alert. They're not just part of the offense, they're going to this guy. So with that in mind, it just puts a lot of stress on me. I stay up late at night, but you know what? Our guys, I do think our guys are special. Our guys welcome the challenge to see where you're at. If you're a competitor, you like those situations. It gives you a barometer of where you are, and so our guys are up for the challenge. They relish those opportunities.
As an extension of that, obviously Jalen is one of those guys who relishes and looks forward to those opportunities. What did you see out of him last week in a game that was different in a lot of different ways?
Yeah. Some people would go, you know what, maybe not the best ball game, but he made a lot of plays too. And when you have great, really good offenses, one of our thing is to limit the explosives. You may not be able to completely eliminate them, but you want to limit them. And so each week, our barometer is, are we getting better each week with our technique, with our assignments, with those type of things. And so I'm happy at where we are. But happy doesn't mean that we're not improving or we're content. It just means that each week we're approaching it the same in terms of how we improve. Are we improving? And when I come in here and you see a frown on my face and I've lost my voice, that means someone got ripped because we're not improving and we're not getting better, or we're laying down. And so far during this season, I have not seen that.
In that regard, this defense made a big jump in Indy in Eberflus's first year. This year, not so much, at least on paper.
Yep.
Where are you better than people think, I guess, is my question. Or, how close are you,
Well, last week, the week before that, we said that we've had a dry spout with turning the football over. So this past week, Philly, they did not turn the football over. So we had 3 turnovers. So I come out of that going, hey, nice job. We get what we emphasize. We came out of the ball game. We have 4 weeks left. We came out of this ball game saying, hey, we want to make sure that we stop the run. A very prolific run game last week. We did that for the most part, except for maybe a third down where we let the quarterback out. But we stopped the run. It was 3.4 yards per carry. So we're heading that way. We came out of the ball game and where the quarterback rating was high. Came out of this ball game saying the quarterback was 64.4 quarterback rating. So there are some spots in there where we're heading in the right direction. Coming out 3rd down and 1. I think it's 4th or 5th in the league, 3rd and short in terms of percentages. 2 minute, I think 5th in the league in terms of stopping people in 2 minutes. So you look at some of those things and you go, hey, these are the bright spots, but there's still some other things that consistently we have to work on. Hey, our run game. Hey, big plays. So I'm always going to look at it in terms of the glass half full, always.
With regard to the big plays, that's one area that was, I think this defense is designed to not give up. I don't know what you, excuse me, I don't know what you define a big play. If it's 30 or more, you're really low in the league as far as, giving up too many. What has been the issue there, and how much of that is just kind of a first-year thing, or growing pains kind of thing?
Well, sometimes the growing pain of guys going, you know what, Coach, I care about us, and I need to do something extra to stop this play. And in this defense, it's not extra. You have to trust the guy that's next to you. We ask the question, hey, would you rather be trusted or would you rather be loved? and the guys go, that's something, and you go, well, I would say I'd rather be trusted. I'd rather for people to go, hey, I trust him. And so with this defense, you have to trust the guy that's inside of you. You have to trust the guy that's outside of you. And when you do that, the defense works. When you try to do too much, you try to go, hey, the ball is over there. I'm going to leave my responsibility and go somewhere else. And this defense doesn't work well. So I think they're still buying into, hey, this is assignment football, guys doing their job. And there are times this year when, especially in the fourth quarter, when we need to say, keep doing your job. You don't have to do anything extra. Be consistent about what you do. We haven't gotten there just yet. So in critical situations, one of the guys I used to work for used to call it critical efficiency. In tight spots in situational football, can you execute the defense at a high rate? And that's where those big plays are coming from. We haven't done that on a consistent basis.
Characterize Jack Sanborn's season as surprising. Were you surprised about what he did this year?
No. And a lot of people say, well, you should have drafted him early. No, no. I would say, why put with any of our guys, why put a ceiling on a guy? All the guys, sometimes a guy like Jack doesn't get drafted because you go, hey, he doesn't put up the numbers that some of these other guys do, or guys get drafted sooner because they can run. But we look at our guys do a phenomenal job talking about the front office, Ryan Poles and his crew. They do a phenomenal job of just looking at the tape first and going, this is a football player. This guy's tough. He finds the ball. He hits the ball. Coach Eberflus would say the number one job of a linebacker is to hit the football. Jack did that at Wisconsin at a high level. He did it in high school at a high level. And so usually those guys that do that, it translates, usually it translates over. Jack he just doesn't run 4.4, but he is a football player. So no, I was not surprised.
On the delayed safety blitz, the quarterback draw that was the Hurts touchdown, I know Matt Eberflus said that you had two guys in the same gap.
Yes.
How does that work, though? Was Brisker supposed to be in the gap where Sanborn was? Because couldn't Jalen Hurts just, change the play, when he sees the pressure coming at the last second? How do you diagnose kind of how to fix that?
Yeah, that was what I was alluding to, that some guys, I'm not going to say who was supposed to be where, because I'd like to keep that in my pocket in case we want to do that again. But no, on that play, the wide receivers were kind of jogging off the line and they were going out. So that was a designed quarterback draw that he didn't see, and that was not a RPO or a play that he had something else on. So that was one where he should have been dead to rights. The only way that wouldn't have worked if, his piece that the Philly guy was better than the Bears guy. And so that was a case where I think if we had executed that the right way, it would have been a tackle for a loss. They would have kicked the field goal, and then you would have said, hey, do they make it or miss it?
So it's not something as simple as Hurts can see the pressure and then change it and
Not that one. There are some that he had maybe two plays up. You'll see him go, hey, can, or change the play or throw it quickly out to the right or left, but not that particular play there.
Tyler's interception, what did he do best in that sequence?
Caught the ball. I don't take that for granted because the Bears, they have 9 balls that should have been intercepted. The Buffalo has 9 balls this year that people dropped that were right in their hands. So first thing I'd say, catch the catchables. So that was good. Second thing was that he stayed in coverage. It was a plaster situation. Quarterback scrambles, you get deep, take away deep to short, those balls. And so, he went up and he high-pointed the ball. I don't take that for granted either. A lot of times, I think we saw, I'm not sure, a couple of weeks ago, the safety over the top. He was supposed to make the interception, tried to catch it in the breadbasket. Receiver caught it and scored. So he went up and high-pointed the ball. So those are things that I go, hey, nice job, and we just need more. We'll emphasize that more and get it in practice more. Because we did drop a few in practice, but as long as they catch them in the game, I'm happy.
Thank you.
Holidays to you guys. All right.
Good afternoon. How are you guys doing?
How are you?
Doing great. Merry Christmas to you guys. Won't see you before then, but Merry Christmas to you. Go ahead.
When Cairo decided to move from the right hash to the middle, what's the benefit of that? And is that a conversation with you, or is that?
Yeah, when he decided to move, he just felt like visually, like sights and his lines and his targets, it would make it better, and it did. It did make it better, and he finished the game strong and made his 2 kicks after that, which was good to see him fight through the adversity that he's been going through, and he's mentally tough, and that was a display of it right there. So I'm glad. I'm glad of the way he finished. The guys are happy for him too, so it's good.
Does the kicker always have the final say on what his range is, or do you ever tell him, no, your range is 50?
Yeah, so when we talk about that, we do it pregame. And obviously we do it before the week even starts as well. You just go in and kind of do your checks and balances once you get to the game. But you need to know the weather before you even get to the game so you can game plan for the week. So like we knew, for instance, when the week started, we weren't going to be able to kick the ball far. Now, we didn't know where that line would be because the wind here is different than the wind at Soldier, and the day is different here than the day when we kicked. But we knew that it wouldn't travel. So when you get in that cold weather, the ball is almost like you're kicking a rock. So it just won't travel as far. So we worked Trent on plus 50 punts from shorter areas all week because we knew that he wasn't going to have an opportunity to kick long field goals. And Trent pinned everyone inside the 10 last week and a couple inside the 5 in practice. So I wasn't surprised to see what he did in the game. But, again, we prepared him for that moment as well as preparing Cairo for his moment. So it's not a I said, you said, kick line type deal. We agree on that before the game. We look at it. We make sure that it's the best for the team because if you ever miss a kick and you got the kick line wrong, then you put the defense in a bad situation. So our kick line was a 27-yard line. I think Coach already said that. And you guys can see the Eagles, they found that out too as they missed in that end. That end was tough to kick in, particularly that day. And it's going to be even harder this week. So excited about the challenge. Obviously, they went for it 2 times, one on 4th and 6, one on 4th and 3, because they learned. I'm not glad we were ahead of that and we didn't put our defense in a bad situation. And Trent punted and pinned him at the 9-yard line, which I think he had 3 inside the 20-yard line. And I think maybe 2 inside the 10, 1 inside the 4, and then a kickoff inside the 20. So I was happy with what they did as far as helping the defense.
Richard, you mentioned the adversity that Cairo's going through. Obviously, he's been rock solid for the last several years, so it's alarming when he does miss even just a couple of kicks. From your vantage point, what's he kind of dealing with right now, whether it's physically, confidence-wise, or both, and how does he kind of pull through this?
Yeah, I don't think it's anything that got to do with his confidence. I think he's a confident person. I think he does a really good job he's a technician. I think he just had a rough go where he missed a couple kicks. And I think that happens to any player. Like a player could have a couple drops, catching passes. It's just more magnified because it's a kicker and everybody thinks you should make every kick. And we want to make every kick. And our goal is to make every kick. But he's still reliable. He's got to get better on his extra points right now. He's been doing really well on field goals. But I think the change he made has helped him, and we'll continue to coach him and help him out. And we got full confidence in Cairo. We got full confidence and expect him to make his kicks this week.
What do you think you can do to coach so that it doesn't become a mental thing? Because the more that they add up, I feel like it's more human nature, especially in that position when you're lining up for an extra point, when you know you missed a few. How do you coach to not let it become a mental thing?
Well, I mean, I think you go into the terms of the person and the person you're dealing with. Like, some people need mental coaching. Some people don't need mental coaching. A lot of times with kickers, people don't know how to coach the technique. So everybody says, oh, it's in his head. It's mental. Well, did you look at his plant foot? Did you look at the ball flight? Did you know the wind and which direction the wind was going? Do you know what it means when the ball is not at 6 o'clock laces or 3 o'clock laces? It may not be mental at all, but I think that's a lot of people's crutch because they don't know what 6 o'clock laces are. They don't know what 3 o'clock laces are. They don't know if a target's off snap and we don't spin it right, how it could affect the kicker, you know? So I don't think with this kid, I don't think it's mental. I think we just got to get back to work.
Do you have any conversations with him, or have you talked about it a lot, or is it kind of one of those things he's working through it on his own?
Yeah, we talk about everything. It's no different than if he's making kicks. The conversations are normal. We don't get too high. We don't get too low on anything. I mean, it's not like, I mean, you know, the saying the elephant in the room type deal. That's with if a guy's missing tackles or anything. So I don't change the way I coach a guy because players don't respect that. They want even kill coaches, just much like Flus is. Flus is even kill. I think that's why he has the respect of the football team, and I think that's why people play hard as hell, down in and down out. And we've only lost these games that we've lost by one possession or more. Rarely is guys not doing the hits principle. So and I think that's got a lot to do with the way he leads and the way the guys respect him. And I take that the same way with my coaching. And so I don't get high or low or tense up. People know when you change, especially those guys. They're the smartest at sniffing out BS. They're the smartest at sniffing out when things aren't right because people are always trying to dig into their pockets. So they always got people coming at them from all different type of angles. So you have to be real with them, and you have to give them information that they can use, that can help them, and you have to be the same. But that's an outstanding question.
You talked about the ball being rock hard when it's this cold. Can you do anything to practice with what can you do during the week to get used to that outside of being out in the temperature? You don't go put the ball in the freezer.
Yeah, I mean, you can do different things like that, which guys have done before. I won't reveal all our little secrets about what we do. But as you know, like when you guys are indoors watching them, we're always outside. We always kick outside. We rarely kick inside. So that's the main thing, trying to simulate what you get in a game by going outside and doing that. And we rarely try to kick inside unless we're playing inside, because that's what he's going to get on game day. So we just try to put the players in the situation that they're going to be in over and over again. We play rain games. We take the water bottles and we wet the balls, and Scales hates it, but his hands are all wet, and right before he snaps the ball, he's dried them. We wet them again because that's what's going to happen in the game.
Sorry to nitpick, but what was the infraction on the opening kickoff? I think they called it illegal formation.
Yeah, no, that's not a nitpick. That's an assignment. We go assignment, alignment, key, and technique. And Elijah has been, that was Elijah on that play. Obviously, you guys know that from the penalty. You can get that from the play-by-play. But he's lined up in that position 13 times prior, and in the correct way. And I think he just went out there and he started legally, and then he just scooted back just a hair too far. And we got to have our whole body inside the 40-yard line, and it's not a nitpick at all. We pride ourselves on playing penalty-free, and we've done that we've hit our goal 7 out of 8 weeks, last 8 weeks since the mini-bye, of playing penalty-free. So we take a lot of pride in that. The units that I've been involved in have always probably finished close to top 5 and the less penalties in the league. So I'm glad you asked that question, because we got to play penalty-free in order to win games.
Richard, have you played in a game or coached in a game that's going to be similar to the conditions you're going to face on Saturday?
I don't know if I played in one like with a weather alert like this one. So I'm excited to play in it just because it's different. But I've played in 2 really nasty games. One, I can't remember exactly what year. I think it was 2008 or 2009 when I was in Houston at Green Bay. I think it was -3 or something like that. That one was pretty cold, but it was at 12 o'clock. And then the other one was last year in the playoff game in the divisional round before we went to the NFC Championship. In that game, it was pretty nasty with all that stuff coming down. It didn't feel real cold, but it was hard to see out there. The snow was everywhere. It couldn't see.
For a minute, obviously you got your hands on him kind of late. He didn't start camp here, but he's continued to make plays throughout the season. Now he's getting double teamed as a gunner. I think one of the earlier punts on Sunday. They double teamed him, forced him out of bounds. He fought his way back in and still made the tackle. Just how impressive has he been on your unit?
That's a great question, Herb. Obviously, you watching the game. Yeah, he went out of bounds on that one, came back in, which is very, very hard to do. He legally went out of bounds because you have to be forced out. You can't go out on your own. And he had the wherewithal to make a football move, is what the officials say, make a football move to get back into the field to play. And for him to come back in and still make that tackle, he's been extremely impressive. And the thing about him is he's hungry, and he still wants more. I mean, I don't know offhand how many tackles he has, but I know it's in the double digits. And to get a guy like that, I know it's over 10 or 11. To get a guy like that, where we got him without working with him in the offseason, I'm excited to work with him in the offseason. And quite frankly, I think he should be in a discussion for a Pro Bowl type player. And it's not being talked about, it's not being said, but he is playing at a Pro Bowl level. Every person we play, every coordinator comes up to me and talks about how good Josh Blackwell is and where did you find him. All right, thank you.